she ascended the throne. Now that's different than being coronated, right? So technically, when the other dude or dudette dies, whoever's in line automatically becomes the next sovereign, as they call them. But they haven't been coronated yet. The same thing happened with Chucky. He technically became what they call the king when the queen died, but was coronated, as we know, on May 6th. So the 6th of February, 1952, was the day that the same day of the death of her father, King George VI. Now, when you start to see these numbers connect, guys, you start to wonder, man, how long have they been doing this? How long has this been going on? So you kind of wonder, like, if they took out the Queenster, did they take out the Georgester too? George VI here back in the day, because they like to do things by the numbers, because they think that's where the power comes from. So 6th of February, 52 was interesting. She was 26 when she became the Queenster. Now we know 26 is God's number, but 26 is also half of 52. 26 times 2 is 52. So that's kind of curious. Same day of death of her father. Okay, keep going. So then she finally was coronated on the 6th of June. I'm sorry, the 2nd of June, 1953. Now, what's interesting about that is you have 6-2, or depending on if you're in Europe or in America, depending on how you want to switch that. But 6-2, the 6th of February, and then she's coronated on 2-6, or the 2nd of June. So, or you could say she ascended on 2-6, and she was coronated on 6-2. So again, she's 26, and she's coronated. She ascends on 26, 2-6, which again is God's number, and then she's coronated on the opposite of that, a 6-2. So the chiasmus is there again. Like, what are the odds of that? I mean, come on. That's what I'm saying. They plan this stuff. You think these guys are the first ones to ever plan this stuff out? They come from a long line of people that plan this kind of stuff out and play with the numbers and the druids and all this stuff. Worshiping the trees and the numbers, and when the sun is just in the right moment, then we'll sacrifice them. Whatever. So they come from a long line of that stuff, and so it's no surprise that these numbers go all the way back. You could probably keep going back generation to generation with all the kings and queens and so forth. You find all these numerical connections that'll probably blow your mind. What else is interesting about this? So not only is it a chiasmus, not only was she 26, and it was 2-6 that she ascended the throne, and then 6-2 that she was coronated, but that's exactly 483 days. Why is that significant? Well, some of you might already remember, because we just talked about that in Messiah the Prince. 483. If you remember, Messiah the Prince, according to Daniel 9, is to appear after 69 weeks. 69 times 7 is 483. You remember that? So we're waiting for Messiah the Prince because the 483 years have already been fulfilled. 483 years, guys. Suleiman. He's the man. Suleiman. So Suleiman rebuilt the wall and the moat, right, of the Jaffa Gate. We've talked about this many times, but I talked about Messiah the Prince, so go back and check that out. It's part of this series. So anyway, Suleiman, he rebuilds the wall and the moat, right? So 483 years. Well, we know that was first fulfilled back in the time of Daniel to Jesus, right? But there's another fulfillment from Suleiman completing the walls till today. Because God likes to work like that. What's been done before will be done again. He likes to kind of drive home a point, kind of reiterate things. And so it's not unlike him to do another 483 years, right? So he did. And that happened right around the blood moon that was so amazing last year that really was kind of the end of a cycle. And then we had the Shemitah year, right, which we just completed. So that really ended, technically, the latest that year that was posted on the wall for Suleiman was around May, I want to say somewhere in the 18th ballpark to like the 26th or something like that. If you remember, go back and watch that video. I forget exactly what the dates were. But that's 483, okay? So that, again, just to remind you what we were even talking about there, that's how many days there were exactly between her ascending the throne at 26 on 2-6 and then being coronated on 6-2, and that was 483 days. Like I say, guys, this is not the first rodeo, okay? They've been doing this forever. So I'm not surprised that this matches all those things, and they probably had that all figured out, or at least God did, right? So, wow.